Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of the Lumière Learning Monday. Our guests today are two women pioneers, I would say, in the work that they do through their firm Orchvate. And I have here the pleasure of welcoming Panchali and Geethanjali, who are the founders of Orchvate. So, ladies, if you can tell our audience a little bit about you, what is Orchvate, and how did you come to build Orchvate in the first place?
Okay, I'll start, Geethanjali. So, um, I'm Panchali, first of all, and my background is I'm an organizational psychologist by profession. So, I've been working with global companies, and what brought us together was, I think, a shared desire to make a difference and the lived experience. So while I was a coach, there are certain things that I realized. A, that corporates, the global companies wanted to, be neuro inclusive. They wanted to hire, but they were facing a challenge accessing that talent source. Um, so that was one. The other side was, as a coach, I came across many professionals who were really brilliant at their jobs, but they were not getting their due recognition simply because either they were not comfortable with small talk or networking, or they were too direct, so they lacked the diplomacy, and things like that. And these are not really weaknesses, they are differences.
Correct.
And often because of these differences, they fall through the cracks. My personal side, I have a cousin and four nephews who are on the spectrum and young adults. So that's a question that's always bothered me, that what happens to them after their education, because there's very little support where employment is concerned. And then I happened to meet Geethanjali organically. And 3.5 years back, both of us gave up our successful corporate careers, and we are happy doing what we are doing. So I'll hand this over to Geethanjali. You tell Deepa your story.
Wow.
Uh,
Thank you, Panchali. That was so interesting and intriguing. So, we'll wait to hear from Geethanjali.
Panchali, I heard that story so many times and it still moves me. Um, okay, so I'm Geethanjali and I'll start off by saying I'm neurodivergent myself. Before going into career details, I'm also going to talk about my mind. So I have a mind that goes off in 1,000 different tangents. So any situation, it sees a lot of options, the flows. That makes me good at problem solving. Like I can spot patterns, anticipate roadblocks, build systems, all of that. But it also means having a brain that rarely switches off, and that can be really exhausting. So now I'll go into the career details. In my corporate life, as a product manager, I led large implementations and delivered results, but also burnt out quite often. I struggled a lot with the invisible parts of the job, small talk, unspoken expectations, the fact that I can be very direct and intense. The sense of intensity shows up when I see something broken. I have trouble letting it go. So years ago, when my father was preparing for heart surgery and wanted to be an organ donor, I started reading up on things like brain death certification. I found gaps, serious ones, in how it was being done in private hospitals. I pulled together the data, the arguments, and we ended up filing a public interest litigation. It's at the Supreme Court now. That work came from the same place that drives me at Awkward, right? A need to fix what is not working. And you've heard Panchali's story. And when Panchali and I met, it just clicked. She has seen the same systemic gaps from the outside, and I've lived them from the inside. We came from very different experiences, but shared the same drive. So that is how Orchvate came to be. It's not as a business idea, but as a shared decision to build something we both needed. A space where neurodivergent individuals do not have to keep explaining or justifying who they are, just be able to work and to be.
So, what kind of a conversation did you have in on what you would do to fix this problem? So, how did you? What was your process to organization building, if I may?
That's out of script. So, Panchali, that's for you.
So the journey, has been very insightful. So we started with certain things and then it's evolved. The paths have, new paths have come in. So when we started, the whole idea was that we bridge that gap. So corporates want resources and we know resources are there. So
Yes,
we will be the bridge.
correct.
When we started on that journey, we realized that the corporates are still not equipped to, we may place the resources, but will they sustain?
Hmm.
Is the system ready for them? And we saw gaps there.
Mm-hmm.
So we took a step back and we thought that we need to work with the corporates to build those safe places
Mm-hmm.
before we, have people in those systems.
Okay.
Another thing we realized was that so it's 1 in 7 people are neurodivergent. So that
That's a good
means
number.
in the existing systems, there already are people who are neurodivergent.
Yes,
However, so either they are masking because of stigma or else they are not aware.
they're not aware.
And in the process, what's happening is they're not being able to give their 100%.
Yes.
Like Geethanjali said, there's burnout. They are overwhelmed. A lot of, the benchmarks to evaluate achievements are done by the neurotypicals where they don't fit. So all of that. So we are positioning to the corporates was that you build a safe place. That way, the people in the system are going to unmask and they are going to approach you being open about what they want from you. And once you do that, getting people from the outside, you don't have to reach out to anybody, people will come to you. So that was our stand. And so corporates came to us with a new agenda. They said that, okay, what about the people we've already hired?
Mm-hmm.
So can you help us, with them? We want them to contribute. We want them to be happy. So both of us started that new thinking that, okay, we join as coaches.
Okay.
So we work with multinationals who already have people, and we don't just coach the employees. We've made it very clear upfront with the leadership that we need to coach the managers. We
Yes.
need to coach the team members, the buddies.
Yes.
And thankfully, our partners, the leadership has bought into that. And so we are building those ecosystems.
Beautiful.
And we have seen uh, in 100% of the cases, there's been a significant improvement, not just in the employees' performance, but even the buddies grow as an individual, managers grow as individuals. And yeah, we've seen that transformation. So I'll stop here. Uh, Gitanjali, maybe you can tell about the other side, that is, when so many people reached out to us who don't fit into the corporate space, and then your thinking that went behind it.
I understand the need for a freewheeling conversation. It sounds, you know, what it is, right? Freewheeling. But it's also not very inclusive of different ways that the mind works. So that thing with having 100 different tangents going off is that uh, you're also not going to be responding spontaneously immediately because you're still thinking about it, right? and that does not go very well with a conversation. Certainly not a freewheeling one. So yeah, coming back to this. Um, so so we started coaching. And we started an internship program for a company, and the company wanted us to find people, and we put out just two or three job postings, and we got like hundreds of applications, hundreds of people registered. Um, but many of them did not really fit into the corporate space.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Marked differences, educational qualifications that, corporates have at least a minimum graduate requirement.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, speech may not be a mode of communication, and corporate speech becomes a necessity. And then sensory differences, eh, lots of things. And those are also the reasons probably why they did not have a formal education either. So then we thought, what do we do for this group, right? Because they had a certain difference, they were excluded from the system. Because they were excluded from the system, they were further stigmatized, and then they never had opportunity. So they've been uh, disabled by the system. I would say it's the environment that did it to them. It didn't enable them. So I thought, okay, let's do something now. Ideally, it should be language agnostic, not dependent on language. Um, Something that kind of fit into how their strengths, what their strengths were. And again, to avoid broad generalizations, like we keep saying things like pattern recognition and attention to detail, precision, focus. Now, these aren't necessarily common to all neurodivergents. Like, when you say neurodivergence and you say they have all, they're not all of them. They're as unique as neurotypicals are. But we also had to figure out a way to cater to the group that was reaching out to us. And this a way that we found was AI was a field that was at that time really taking off. Computer vision, teaching computers to see. It's language agnostic. You're actually working with videos and images, and marking, telling what a cat is, what a dog is, and more complex than that. But yeah, so we learned it first, Panchali and I, and then we had our team. Our team member actually taught us that. He was our first hire, Rahul. Um, then we started exploring that further. We developed course modules. We reached out. Uh, we just kept reaching out to people, and people responded like very, very positively. So we had the CEO of Data Loop responding to us. Data Loop is one of the top data annotation start companies in the world. They're based, and then the chief product officer of Taskmonk responded, and they're both still partners. And we started training our teams on. I still said teams, but they were trainees at that time on these platforms, and we were learning too. We just learned a little ahead and taught them. Um, it was a small batch. How many, Panchali? 7 to 8 people
Yes,
max,
the
right?
pilot batch
Seven,
was 7 to 8. Yeah.
7 to 8. And so, yeah, that is how we started. Um, then the journey continued, and last year we trained 150, not just last year. So far, we've trained over 12 months. I end up being very precise. Over 12 months and a little more. We ended up training now close to 155, 165,
65.
65, 165 people. And of them, around 80% of people are interning with us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we are now. Panchali, you want to take this forward?
So, would you call yourself a training company? Would you call yourself a tech company? Would you call yourself an advocacy company, or all of the above?
We don't call ourselves. What do we call
Are
ourselves?
you
Our
but
focus
you're
is
not
That's
a
more.
a
foundation.
difficult question because
You're not a foundation either, right?
we had to face that question that what do you all do really, there's so much you do. And
Yeah.
yes, so it's all of it that you said. Advocacy is there. uh, and but I think the main thing was employability. So we
Yes.
wanted to look at employment, so the training also that we did is to see them getting employed. So but we were also very clear that it will not be possible to place them at the corporates. So wherever, it's been client projects, what happens is they outsource that work to us,
Okay.
and the people trained by us deliver that working from home, and we take the ownership of,
Quality.
ensuring, yeah, the quality of the deliverables.
Got it.
So that's how it works. So even like Gitanjali was saying, right, 165 trained, 107 interning. So interning with us. So right now we have 107 people as interns at Orchvate.
And how
So
many live projects do you have right now?
coming to the projects, we've been working on Polygon, which is one of the tools. It's on defect management. We've been working on LiDAR, which is 3D annotation, very complex annotation. Apart from that, one of our client projects is, it's been there, they've been there with us for 1.5 years now. So they are into, again, manufacturing sector across different industries. So yes, so it's pretty much varied, the kind of projects.
Uh, so people find you when through what? How does someone find Orquid? Like, let's say I'm a mom of a child who's neurodivergent. How will I discover Orquid? I'm
It's
based
a
in Gurgaon. I'm based in Gurgaon, for example, and I don't even know something like this exists. So how do I find Orquid?
it's so far it's been again organic, so through the different trusted networks. So parents have the trusted networks, and it is there that through word of mouth. So whatever we've done, some parent shares it, and that's how it's been happening. But we are growing, and we have once a month a meeting which is on improvement ideas. And
Okay.
just like you said, there's one of our very valuable team member. She's a mother, and in Delhi NCR. So she put up that idea that we should actually be going out and telling who we are. And because in Delhi NCR, not very many people, not very many parents know about Orchvate. And so this month we have given her the ownership that, okay,
Okay.
draw out a plan and what you're going to do in the northern part, that's Delhi NCR. Then that becomes kind of a program to follow for the rest of India. So we haven't really done anything to answer your question.
So the last 3.5 years, the geographies, all your teams are based in Bangalore.
It's pan India because it's all remote. Our entire training is online. And one of the reasons why we intentionally made it online is it reduces a lot of the stress that comes with commuting, the travel, then the unfamiliar environment, the people around. So all that is taken care of if it's online. And another thing we insist on is the caregiver support.
Okay.
So we
Tell us
say
a
that,
little bit about this.
so we absolutely welcome and encourage caregivers to be part of the training. So
Oh,
they're learning as a team. So the individual and their parents, and we are happy to teach two of them, three of them. So at times the sibling learns, And when you learn as a team, that learning becomes a lot more engaging,
Yeah.
enjoyable, and because it's something, it's not easy, the training, right? It's difficult. It's something new that nobody knows.
Yes.
So they learn together, they work on assignments together, and it makes a lot of difference.
Amazing.
So,
What is how Orchvate? What does it stand for, and how did you come upon this name? I can see
um,
you smiling.
yeah, we actually had to look for some unique name that for that domain to get the domain, and that was why we thought. And it comes from we orchestrate and we innovate. So
Ah,
the orc from the orchestrate and the wait from the innovate. So orchvate.
very nice.
Again, that was not intentional. It just we had to do it. There was a problem. We weren't getting the domain, and
So
yeah.
between the two of you, the techie, the techie is Geethanjali, right? So
Yes.
process, systems, precision, finding a problem, going after it. You as a coach, freewheeling, open, having conversations. So yeah, how is it to work together with the both of you?
I think it's the best combination. So I'm a complete non-techie. She is not a real techie in the sense, but she's been into product management, right? So she understands tech. And given the problem solving mind, the strategic thinking is hers. So, whatever problem we encounter, she comes up with the strategies and I execute it. So, the implementation is mine. So, the planning, how we're going to do it, but that solution is hers.
So the corporate stakeholders, engaging with them, pitching the idea, getting the projects, placing interns. You have a team doing all of this.
Again, we haven't really had the chance to market or to reach out proactively, so it's all happened again. So
Organic.
our yes, so our whole mission has been whatever's come to us, we are not going to say we can't do it. We
Correct.
have to find a way to do it,
Good.
and we'll do our best. So
Correct.
anything we take up, that is there, that perfection that is common between her and me. So that is something we both look at. Anything, it could be a simple email going out, but we'll have to ensure it's perfect.
So, if, for example, a child signs up for the training at Orchvate, at the end of the training, the internship is almost always a guarantee, or it depends on whether the child qualifies, certifies, uh, comes up to speed. And do you have times when a child is not able to, for example? And what is the age group of this cohort that you train?
Because it's employment, we look at 18 plus. And so the Neuro AI program that we are running in collaboration with NASCOM Foundation, there the internship is guaranteed, but they would definitely have to qualify for it. So we have modules. Each module has an assessment after that. We give 2 attempts to clear the assessments with a feedback after the first. We allow parents to be with them, to guide them, um, and those who clear all the modules, they are qualifying for the internship. However, let me give you some statistics for you to understand. So uh, since it's a NASCOM Foundation program, there are certain metrics that we have to follow, and one of them is the attendance. So it's a 75% attendance required for qualifying. However, the 165 that we trained, the attendance was 94%. Okay. Then there was a criteria, assignments are given,
Hmm.
100% submissions. So it's not like it's something to be really, underlined. It tells so much about that group.
Yes.
Uh, After that, the qualification, it's not easy, the modules. The pass mark, because it's industry standards, it is anywhere between 85 to 90% you have to score.
Accuracy.
And there, the average score across the modules for the 165 has been 92%. So, regarding the internships, also they had mentioned that it's a 60%, should qualify the
Yes.
training that you'll be doing. But like Geethanjali said, it's over 80% are interning with us. And also to answer your question, that there could be one student who or one trainee who's needs a little bit of extra attention. So we do it in small batches of 10 to
Okay.
12 people, not more than that, with one
Okay.
dedicated trainer.
Yeah.
And after that, if anyone's falling behind, we also have one-on-one sessions with that
I see.
person. That is also there.
Right. So, how do you visualize the next 5 years for Orchvate?
Gitanjali, that's yours. How do you visualize Orchvate in the next 5 years?
From the time we started, our focus has been sustainable employment for neurodivergence. Like that is we've tried different ways of doing it and we've tried different paths, but the goal does not, the goalpost is still the same. And we see that happening. Um, right now, we have more demand than we can meet. So it means hiring more. And with hiring more, it means, you also have to you don't really know already we are at a stage where we don't really directly interact with all our trainers. We're meeting them probably for the first time in a improvements call that never happened before. So that kind of growth and all of this is all the people that have come to work for Orchid, even those have been organic, they've not been hires. So they are either people who came to us for training, uh, a parent or a caregiver of a neurodivergent, like it's a spectrum of people with, but they're all in some ways allies or neurodivergents. They belong to the community,
Yeah.
and that's how we've grown. Um and we see that growth going on. I don't know when we will make our first external hire, but we have a new intern coming in. So again, she did not know we existed. She's a postgraduate from the King's College and somehow found us. And then she decided, okay, I'm coming back to India and doing an internship here. And I said, all right. So that could end up being our first external hire. But yes, the growth has been phenomenal. We not something we really planned for. I wouldn't say not planned for, not something we expected. Something we wanted, not something we expected, and we expect that to continue.
So, what
So
is,
I'll just build on it. I'll just build on Gitanjali, what she said.
yes.
Um, so right now did we tried all this out with image annotation, and we've been able to prove to ourselves that this is possible.
Yeah.
So we have the training model, that how we need to design our training, how we need to deliver trainings for it to be effective for this audience.
Yes.
And we also have an inclusive workplace model in place where 107 people are working. It's not something simple, right? So these two models having been tried and tested, we are now confident of moving ahead with other modules. So we are exploring data interpretation and data visualization as the next one.
Okay.
It's kind of ready to launch.
Yeah.
Then we are looking at coding, how to start them on coding when they don't have that background of coding.
Yeah.
So they're not engineers, but they have the logical thinking, the problem solving brain. So that's another program we are going to launch. And we are looking at designing one on cybersecurity. So for each of these, we are not experts. So we have experts across corporates who are passionate in this inclusion space, and
Amazing.
then they partner with us to design those. And I think 5 years, Geethanjali, I'm sure you're going to get global, right? It's
Yes.
not going to be limited to India.
Yes. So that was really amazing, insightful. Uh, we've crossed the 30-minute mark, so I'm not going to take this conversation beyond the time. But I do want our all of you viewers to discover and to be able to uh, see the kind of work that's happening in a very in a very organic way. It's calling for a need which Orchvate is trying to satisfy, both from the beneficiary or the person who is neurodivergent, the family, as well as the corporates. So it's coming
Right.
together as a an ecosystem to solve a problem and to find something which is sustainable. So Gitanjali, you talked about sustainable employment for employability for neurodiversity. And I think that focus and that laser sharp uh, intent in doing whatever it is that you do with 100% heart and mind is probably giving you the kind of amazing results. And we can only keep cheering you from the wings, and we wish you all the very best for the next big things that Orchvate is going to achieve. And I hope more people discover you through the Lumière Learning Monday platform. And thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you for this opportunity, Deepa. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks to
Thank
Lumiere.
thank you for having us.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you. Bye.